It is now time for the Jeff Fox Radio Show. Jeff Fox Radio Show. Turn it up and get ready to talk sports and entertainment with your favorite sports brother. Follow the Jeff Fox Show on Instagram. That's at the Jeff Fox Show. Follow him on Twitter at Sports Bros Radio. And follow the Jeff Fox Show on Facebook at the Jeff Fox Show. Remember to subscribe on YouTube to Jeff Fox. You can always choose to support Jeff on Cash App. $ Radio Host 1. And sit back, relax, and enjoy the Jeff Fox Show. Powered by Brandstar Sports and Entertainment.
Get ready to go. Get ready to start the show.
With a second down and goal. Oh, look at that. Double pass action. Breaks a tackle.
That was just one, Lorenzo.
One. Simply
that was
one.
Just one.
That was just one. Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Can you show me more? Can you show me more?
Oh, my.
Can you show me more, Jeff?
You want to see more?
Yes, I want to see more. I want to see more.
This was 30 seconds into the game.
For Denver, 1st and 10. The fake. Good block in there, and down it goes. Caught at the 30. This is the dynamic here. He's in for 6. Tyreek Hill. Touchdown.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes, sir. Tyreek Hill. 30 seconds into the game, man. The way this game started yesterday, by the way, welcome everybody. It's the Sports Brothers, man. Jeff Fox, Lorenzo Ice-T. Man, we're going to chop it up for a little bit on this game yesterday. And Dolphin fans, I told you last week, Lorenzo.
What did you tell us last week, Jeff?
I told you that the Dolphins were going to go in there and mop up the floor.
No, you didn't say that. You didn't say that.
I told you that the Dolphins would beat the crap out of.
You did not say that. You did not say that last week.
Don't say those exact words.
Don't say that you said that. Say exactly.
Right, I'm going to find the clip.
Say exactly what you said. What you said last week is you said that the Miami Dolphins offense was unstoppable. That's what you said.
Yes. And so, if I said the Dolphins were unstoppable, right? And then they scored 10 freaking touchdowns in one game.
Right.
That makes me a genius.
Oh, well, give yourself a round of applause.
Yes. That makes me a genius.
Give yourself.
Because I saw it coming.
You didn't see it coming. You didn't.
Okay.
You just said that they were unstoppable based on what you saw. And as far as I'm concerned, as a Miami Dolphin fan, that just like Coach McDaniel said, that's 3 wins. That's just
Shout out
3
to
wins.
Boss Carter, man. It was shooting in, man. Boss Carter, what up, big dog?
That's all I'm concerned with. It's just 3 wins. So was I excited about the way the team moved the ball up and down the field, basically only being stopped once, and that was when they tried to go for it on a 4th down in their own territory, and I believe they had 1 punt throughout the entire game. Outside of that, I think the Miami Dolphins, there's a statistic, and there's a whole bunch of statistics based on this particular game, but they have scored on 47%. Basically half of their possessions they have scored on this season through 3 games. So how are you not? So wait, that's only half. That doesn't mean they're unstoppable. That's half of their possessions they have scored.
You gotta be kidding me with this, Lorenzo.
No, I mean,
you're not the only Dolphin fan I know that's like this. Like,
what do you mean? We were through. What are you saying?
What I'm saying is, you guys have been so shook. You've been so hurt by this team that you're watching them destroy people, and you still don't believe.
I didn't say. Did I say that? Did I say that?
Didn't say that, but you don't have to say that.
No, all I said, you said that this offense is unstoppable, right? That's what you're saying.
And it is unstoppable.
No, they're not unstoppable. They're not unstoppable.
You gotta be kidding me.
No, we looked like this last year. We looked like this last year. We're more efficient. We didn't score 10 touchdowns in the game, but we didn't play against a defense that was missing their starting safety, that was missing a starting linebacker, that was missing a starting corner, and basically has been taken over by a coach that doesn't have any control over their team right now. So we didn't play those teams. We didn't play those teams in the first 3 games. we'll see what happens when we go up to Buffalo this week when we play against a team that is an elite team, that has a pretty good defense, that has an offense that's threatening. Now, once I see how our team plays against the Buffalo Bills, who is playing very well at this particular time, I will be able to, after one quarter of the season, assess what they have accomplished. Because last year when we were sitting at 8-3 and we went into San Francisco basically, I wouldn't say they exposed us. I say San Francisco, the Los Angeles Chargers exposed us a little bit more that next game, but San Francisco was able to get pressure on the Miami Dolphins offense, and Tua had a tough game. Now, the offense has evolved and expanded more since then, but I have seen the offense look this efficient before. So
no, you have not.
Yes,
Lorenzo. Seriously, bro.
They were efficient against. They were efficient. They outscored the Texans like 30-0 in the first half at home.
Nobody's ever seen this before.
What I said was efficient, Jeff. I said efficient. Okay. No one's ever seen 70 points in a game before. But the Denver's defense wasn't helping out either. They weren't doing what they were supposed to do, and they were injured. So now, are you asking me to get all gassed up and jump on a Super Bowl bandwagon? Not just yet. I'm going to pump my brakes. If everyone else wants to jump on the bandwagon, we Dolphin fans don't want you on our bandwagon.
Well, we don't want
you on the bandwagon. We don't want you on the bandwagon. Real fans do not. We want to take this. We want to take this one game at a time, one step at a time, one game at a time. We got Buffalo in Buffalo next week. We come out of there victorious. We got the Cardinals, and the Giants after that. After this Buffalo game, let me give you a stat. After this Buffalo game, the Dolphins have 8 of the next 12 games at home. The one game against Kansas City is at a neutral site. Now,
Germany.
Then I will start to really get excited. But once we get past this Buffalo game and I see how our team looks offensively and what defensive adjustments Buffalo's going to do to try to slow us down, and what is our defense going to do against the Buffalo Bill offense? Because our defense has shown they don't have the ability to get pressure on the quarterback rushing 4. So I'm not excited because the defensive front.
You're not excited.
I'm not excited. I'm not talking Super Bowl like you talking Super Bowl or talking about they are unstoppable. I'm not talking that. Now, I'm going to DraftKings or whoever, and I'm putting $100 on the Dolphins. Do that
to win the Super Bowl.
Do that. I'm not ready yet. It's week 3, Jeff. You see how those Cowboy fans were all excited and they were talking Super Bowl and they blamed the media for building them up. It's talking about you're the ones. It's you that build us up. And you're the one that wanted us to fall. No, it's the way those Cowboy fans come out and start talking. Oh, we're going to. Hey,
but that's Cowboy fans.
What I'm saying is that we're not Cowboy fans. We look at things open and honestly. So right now, at this particular time, we've won 3 games. Did we score 10 touchdowns on Sunday and yesterday? Yes. Was I at the game and did I enjoy it? Yes. Did I want us to kick the field goal? The fan in me said, yes, kick the field goal and break the record. But the manager in me said, no, better not. But right now, I'm taking it.
Mike McDaniel
I am taking it one game at a time, Jeff. One game at a time.
I don't get you guys. But anyway, this is what I said last week. Like the Broncos, the New York Giants, those non-explosive teams, Dolphins are going to blow them out of the water this year. I think this team, and I don't want to I know we're only 2 games in.
Right.
I get it. I know we're only 2 games in, Lorenzo.
Right.
But Dolphins going to the Super Bowl.
Oh, I'm not going to go that far just yet. I'm not going to go that far.
The season. I said it before the season, and I'm going to stick with that because I don't see a team in the AFC that can slow this team down. Now, right after I said that, this team goes out there and they put up 30, nope, 40, nope, 50, nope, 60, no. 70 points. 70 points. 70 points. 70 points. I've never seen that in my freaking life.
No one has.
Old.
No one has.
You haven't seen that.
No one has. It hasn't happened.
Nobody's seen that.
Since 1960, before the NFL mergers when that happened. When they, I think it was the Washington Redskins scored 72 points against the New York Giants. And Jeff, Jeff, I applaud you. I applaud you for saying we're going to blow those teams out. I don't care about those teams. I care about beating.
I don't care about them either.
I care about beating the Buffalo Bills, who we were 1-2. Who we were 1-2. Who we were 1-2. Let me finish. Who we were 1-2 against. I care about beating the Kansas City Chiefs. That's who I care about beating. I care about beating the Dallas Cowboys when we play the Dallas Cowboys. That's who I care about beating. I care about beating the Philadelphia Eagles when we play the Philadelphia Eagles. Those are the teams that will get me as excited as you, but you're a fan jumping on the bandwagon. So it's easy for you to just go and say,
I'm not a fan. I'm only joking when I say I want to get on the bandwagon. I'm going to suffer with my Raiders like you suffered with your Dolphins.
That's right.
Because my brother who lives in Bahamas told me, you can't get on the Dolphins bandwagon. He says I have to fill out an application.
That's right.
And that and other Dolphin fans have told me I will have to publicly burn my Raiders gear.
Yes, I like that. Yes, definitely.
I'm not burning my Raiders gear, number one.
That's right.
And believe you, OJ, who's in the chat room, all he said was Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, that's
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Good for the Steelers. They looked good last night. They looked good against your Raiders. Good for them.
Anybody's going to look good against the Raiders.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good.
But I will ask you, Lorenzo, along with the rest of Dolphin Nation, in the immortal words of Coach Deion Sanders.
Do you believe that? Huh?
You ask me what? Do I believe what?
Do you believe that?
What do I believe? Huh?
And your Miami Dolphins going to the Super Bowl.
No, I'm not ready to answer that question yet. I'm just not ready.
Okay.
Now, wait a minute. But Deion wasn't asking, do you believe they're going to win the national championship this year? That's not what Deion was at. He was asking, do you believe that this team is better than what you thought they were going to be? That's the question. Do you believe as if they're a good team? Because they only won one game last year. So that's what he was asking the reporter that had been saying negative things about his team. So that's what he was asking. All right. Yep, so now
I do.
You're asking me whether or not I believe they're going to the Super Bowl. I got to wait and see. To see how they play against Buffalo this weekend in Buffalo.
I'm here to publicly tell you, Lorenzo,
yes.
Ice-T Thomas, my esteemed co-host, who's also on Hot 105 every Saturday night from 6 to 10, right?
Thank you very much. Yes. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Nice shameless plug right there.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm here to tell you that this Miami Dolphin offense, led by the mad scientist named Mike McDaniel, is unstoppable. Now, you're going to stop them every now and then. This team scores on half of their possessions. I've never seen that before. This is great. This is better than the New England Patriots with Tom Brady and Randy Moss that went undefeated until they got to the playoffs. This is better than the greatest show on turf.
Right.
This is video game numbers that they put up yesterday. Video game.
Right. I mean, Tua was 17 for 17 in his first
video game numbers. Video game numbers.
And he had like a passer ratio of 135.235, something of that sort.
Bro, I ain't never seen no shit like this, man. I'm just being honest.
Yeah, and he's also beaten 10 straight Super Bowl winning coaches.
Didn't you just tell me, Lorenzo, that they score on 45% of their possessions?
I think it's been 40. I think it, to be exact, is like 47% of their possessions this year. And most of the times this year, when they have not scored, it's been self-inflicted. Like I would call the possession where they went for it on fourth down at their own 33-yard line. That was self-inflicted. You know what I mean? Broncos, they stopped them.
Of this team.
Exactly. I mean, that one. And then maybe in the New England game, Tua threw I think New England stopped them when they came out of in the second half, first possession, they stopped them. And then later on in that game, Tua threw an interception. So, okay, that's really self-inflicted. In the first drive of that New England game, they drove down there in the red zone, low snap. Tua almost falls down, and then he throws the ball out of bounds, and they have to settle for a field goal. There's so many instances. First drive against the Los Angeles Chargers, Miami Dolphins drive straight down the field, fumbled snap, Chargers recovered. They don't get any points then. So most of the drives, which is ironic, where they're stopped from scoring is because it's been self-inflicted. I'm not ready to put them in the Super Bowl yet. Because
I just wonder if we could.
I'm not ready. I'm not ready yet.
I get you, but I don't want my Raiders to come here. I want us to just skip the trip, just forfeit the game, give you guys because I don't want to see what y'all gonna do to us.
I mean, Jeff, you got to understand. I mean, for some Miami Dolphin fans. They've never seen. It's not a matter of believing, Jeff. It's just a matter of right now, 3 weeks into the season, we just going to take it one game at a time. That's it. Believe what? Do I believe we're going to make the? Hold on a second. Do I believe we can win the division? Yes. Do I believe we're going to make the playoffs? Yes. Am I ready to say we're going to the Super Bowl like you said? Not yet. Let me just see how we play against Buffalo. Even though last time we played Buffalo in the playoffs, we played them well, lost 31-28. In the snowstorm, we had a lead in the fourth quarter, I think by 8 points. We end up losing to them. Tua played in the snow game, but he didn't play in the playoff game. And then when we played him down here, game 3, when I think we won by like 2 points. And they had an opportunity to kick a field goal, and that's when they were worn down. So we were 1-2 against Buffalo last year. They're playing well. Once I see this game and see how the defense, I need to see how the defense is going to respond and how they're going to play against Josh Allen and a very hot Buffalo Bills team who blew out the Washington Commanders 37-3. And the week prior, who did they beat? I can't even remember who they beat. But they beat them soundly. Was it the Raiders? It was the Raiders, right? It was your Raiders, right? Yeah. So they beat the Raiders soundly.
They beat us like we stole something.
Right. So they're playing very well too. So I mean, this is the game of the week. Do I believe we can go in Buffalo and win? Yes. I just want to see how we do it. I want to see how we win and how the defense performs.
All right.
Yeah, but I believe we can win. Do I believe we can win the game? Yes. But you got to complete that sentence when you ask, do I believe? Do I believe? And your sentence, do I believe we're going to the Super Bowl? I want to wait until after game.
Man, if my Raiders scored 10 touchdowns in a game, I'd be talking mad cash shit.
That's you.
For real.
That's you.
Like I don't get the humbleness of you, of my cousin Rodney, of other Dolphin fans that I know that are like, even at the round table, I was like, are you guys going to believe in this team?
We believe, like, Jeff. You gotta ask a complete question. You're not asking a complete question. Do we believe? Do we believe what?
Do you believe this team can beat any team in the NFL now by 2 touchdowns?
I believe they can beat any team in the NFL.
The Dolphins are 2 touchdowns better than anybody in the league.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying if they lined up against San Francisco right now, the way San Francisco would beat us last year. I can't say that we're going to beat them by 2 touchdowns. Do I believe we can beat them? Yes, but the defensive side of the ball needs to improve. Fangio was brought here for a reason. Nick Chubb has not shown up. Jalen Phillips does not have a sack. What's his name? David Long keeps hitting trying to penetrate into the backfield, hitting the wrong hole.
I mean, the only person I see scoring more than the Miami Dolphins is Xavier Howard.
I mean, yeah. Oh, you funny.
Damn.
You had to go there.
Damn.
Only Xavier Howard scoring more than Miami Dolphins right now.
You've been waiting all day for that one.
I have been waiting to say that.
Yeah.
Let's check in with Coach McDaniel, man. See what he had to say after the game.
Yo, spade a spade. That's a historic
victory, okay? And what I want you guys to understand and take from it is it's about our standard, nothing else, okay? Offensively, you put up some historic numbers today because you didn't give up the scoreboard.
Right.
Okay? Defense, literally, any time that we shortchanged ourselves, you guys came up with a play, and then we piggybacked. We're just getting started. I am so proud of everyone. I want you guys to enjoy it, but keep it in perspective. It is a third win. We care about our standard and our standard only.
Hey, y'all, boy. We got to keep building this, man. Hey, fans on 3, 1, 2, 3. Fans. Woo!
Jeff?
Fins up. Fins up. Give me the hand clap, Lorenzo.
Yeah, give it a hand clap. But
Fins up. I'm with it, man.
But what did the coach say?
He said we're going to whoop everybody ass.
It's 3 wins. Keep it in perspective. It's 3 wins. Keep it in perspective. And then even bigged up the defense after he tried for it on 4th down at his own 33-yard line. They saved him. You know what I'm saying? They saved him. So basically, that's just shout out to the defense. This offense looks crazy right about now. You are absolutely right. The second most in yardage in NFL history was 728 yards. I mean, that is just crazy. They're averaging 8.1 yards a play, 30 first downs in this game, and a total of 726 yards. That breaks Miami Dolphin record. So yes, it was a historic day. I'm glad to say that I was there myself, was able to see it. Papa Pump was there. Big shout out going out to Solo D and everyone in Section 101. I mean, it was a great time yesterday. And there were times where people were cheering, and I stayed seated because I was in disbelief. I was like, I cannot believe.
You were in disbelief.
I was in disbelief. Everyone was jumping around me, especially after Emmanuel Ogbah got the interception, almost scored, and then the next play, Mostert runs it in for a touchdown, and I'm like, we up 35-10. Like, wow. Like, really?
726 yards. Not 400 or 500 like average teams. Even when teams go for 500 yards of offense, they exploded.
Mm-hmm.
What do you call 726 yards, Lorenzo? Nuclear.
The Miami Dolphins scored 70 points, and there was still 8 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. Be it the New England Patriots and the New York Jets haven't even scored over 60 points total for the entire season.
Yeah.
Just think about that. And there were 8
minutes. Dead last in scoring in the NFL?
Not the Raiders.
The Raiders.
Wow.
Dead last.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fewer points than the Jets?
The Raiders.
Man.
Last in scoring. I'm pretty sure.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
I mean, I was watching the game last night. I was like, Tyrese, bro. Like, this is all I got. Yeah, that was me.
But you know what? While I was at the game, I wanted to run on the sidelines, and I know they don't have them anymore, but I wanted to pick up the phone and say someone called the National Guard. Because the Miami Dolphins are killing the Denver Broncos. Shannon Sharp.
Yeah.
I wanted to do that. And I just got a flashback. I was out there. I was like, after we scored 2 touchdowns in less than in 3 minutes, I got a flashback of Oregon against Colorado State. I'm sorry. It was basically a bad weekend for football teams from the state of Colorado. But it also
that's a good point right there.
Yeah, right. But here's the best point of all. All right. Now here we are. We're at Hard Rock Stadium, right? The Dolphins just scored a touchdown, right? The big jumbotron. Everything's looking nice at the Rock. The crowd is going crazy. We're playing against a team from Colorado, Denver, and what do? They put Eric Spoelstra up on the Jumbotron, and the crowd goes crazy. So yesterday's beatdown, Spo was there. So the beatdown was payback for what the Denver Nuggets did to the Miami Heat. Give it up.
Give nice. It up. Nicely played, Lorenzo.
Yes. Eric Spoelstra was there.
Nicely played.
Definitely. Yeah. So, I mean, it was a beat. The beatdown was deserved. And the fact that Mike McDaniel could have been in his feelings because, when the job was open for the Denver Broncos, him being a former ball boy, they didn't call him. Nick Chubb is a former Denver Bronco, so he could have been in his feelings. Vic Fangio, a former coach of the Denver Broncos, could have been in his feelings.
Bradley Chubb, by the way. Yeah.
What did I say? Nick Chubb? I'm sorry. Yeah, Bradley Chubb. Yeah. So it was definitely one of those games where they wanted to pay them back. And then if you think about, what Sean Payton said about Tua Tagovailoa last season when he was an analyst for Fox, he said that Tua would lose his job to Teddy Bridgewater sometime during the middle of the season. So Tua probably remembered that, along with Sean Payton. So it said he was saying what he said about Hackett. In fact, that he was one of the worst coaching jobs he had ever seen before. That's karma. It's all payback. So when you get on TV and you say something about somebody, you better be able to back it up. But then when you get in front of the reporters, you need to be accountable for how poorly your team played. And I didn't see that from Sean Payton. And then another reason why we had to beat them down was the fact that we lost a draft pick from trying to get Sean Payton to come to the Miami Dolphins. So we lost that draft pick, the tampering with him and Brady. So we end up losing. I think we lost a first-round pick and a third-round pick for the tampering. So we had to beat them down and let them know, that Stephen Ross and Chris Greer end up making the right decision. So there was so many layers and storylines to this particular game that probably motivated the Miami Dolphins to beat them down the way they did beat them down. But they decided, you know what? We've done enough by putting 70 on you. We're not going to set the NFL record. We'll save that for the next team.
Let me tell you, man.
We'll save that for another team. And the Denver defense is not a bad defense. Vance Joseph is a good defensive coach. And I don't like the fact that a lot of people have been talking, a lot of analysts have been talking about this game and the Denver defense, but they're not recognizing the fact that there were so many players that Denver was missing on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, Simmons is an excellent safety. He's a Pro Bowl safety, and he was missing. So not that he would have slowed down Tyreek Hill, but there are so many different players that make that defense, as good as it can be, and they were missing quite a few yesterday.
Here is why, Lorenzo, I see, Thomas, that I don't think there's any other team that can stay on the football field with this Miami Dolphins squad and come to within 2 touchdowns. And this is just yesterday. And I get it that it's one of those things that rarely happens. But in the Dolphin backfield, Devon A-Chain, 4 touchdowns, 236 total yards. That's just him. Mm-hmm. Raheem the Dream Mostert. Is that how you said Mostert?
Mostert, yep.
Yeah. 4 touchdowns, 142 total yards, combined for 378 yards, and 8 touchdowns. No. Yeah, 378 yards. And 8 touchdowns. It's ridiculous.
I mean, they're not going to do that every game, Jeff.
I know.
They're not going to do that every game.
But that's just the running backs. Tua had the highest passer rating of his career. 155.8. This Dolphin offense is unstoppable. There's no weakness. Tyreek Hill was running free in the secondary all day.
On that first touchdown that he scored 3 plays into the game, I don't know what the Denver Broncos defense was playing. Instead of doubling Tyreek Hill, they doubled Robbie Chosen. So that's, come on. The Buffalo Bills are not going to make that mistake. Most defenses are not going to make that mistake. And because they were missing some of their, first line starting players. You had players making you doubling Robbie Chosen, who we just pulled up from the practice squad, instead of Tyreek Hill. That's a breakdown in coverage. That's not going to happen every game. So there are going to be teams that make adjustments and try to figure out ways to beat us. And we were 8-3 and singing their praises last year till we went into San Francisco and went into Los Angeles on a Monday night or a Sunday night, whatever it was, and San Diego. The Chargers made us look silly.
The Dolphin weakness is the defense, clearly. But this defense isn't shabby.
Yeah.
They take the ball away.
That is true.
They take the ball away.
That is true.
So you're going to try to outscore them, and that's impossible.
Right.
To outscore. Coach McDaniels uses motion in this offense. His slot receiver is Berrios from UM. Mm-hmm. And all he has is great hands. There's no stopping this offense. If they can keep Tua upright, and you know how many times Tua has been sacked?
One time.
Once.
Yeah. I don't even know if he's been hit.
He gets rid of the ball so fast.
Now, Buffalo has a new Frazier is no longer the defensive coordinator for Buffalo. So I didn't have a chance to see the Commanders game this past Sunday. Because I was at the Dolphins game.
Well, they got bitch slapped.
But yeah, I heard they were shut out and they scored a field goal at the last second. And in some of the highlights, I saw some blitzes that were kind of exotic. So we are more than likely going to see some of those blitzes. Now, are you going to blitz when the Dolphins can have A-Chain coming out of the back? H-Han is now. He changed his name today. After
what?
Yeah, it's not Devon A-Chain anymore. It's A-Chan. A-Chan. Yes, he changed it today. Press release went out and everything. Adam Schefter put it out there.
I didn't see the press release.
Yeah, it was a press release. Adam Schefter put it out there. So it's
starting to read the newspapers.
A-Chan, not A-Chain. It's A-Chan now.
I like A-Chain.
Yeah, but the thing is, if Buffalo decides to blitz, you're going to have Waddle, and I believe he'll be back from his concussion and be at percussion. Will be at a concussion protocol. And then you have Waddle along with A-Chain and Mostert. I mean, that is a lot of speed. And now I don't know what River Craycraft, what his injury status is, because he injured his shoulder. So then that means Robbie Chosen will probably be, added to the 50-man roster, 53-man roster. So now he'll be out there. That is a lot of speed out there if you decide to blitz the Miami Dolphins.
This team can they can field a team for the U.S. Olympic trials, off this football team for real. This is the backup quarterback and the backup wide receiver, Robbie Chosen.
10, 32, White going deep. Oh, he's got Chosen beating Sertan for 6. The former Robbie Anderson, now Robbie Chosen. 62 points for the Dolphins. All-time high, and they build on it some more. 68-yard touchdown pass.
Man, and that's our homie son who got burnt like toast right there. Patrick Surtain. I'm sorry, Pat.
Surtain the third. He was in quite, but he played his butt off yesterday. He was running down.
A minute. Somebody on that Denver defense played well.
Yeah, when I said he played his butt off because he was the one that was chasing. I'd like to see how many tackles Surtain had yesterday because he was running everyone down. He was coming from the other side of the field to make tackles. So, yes, he got burnt a couple of times. But if anyone was showing up in those highlights, when they have that Monday morning meeting and they look at that tape, the defensive coach Vance Joseph is going to be able to say, see, Patrick gave effort. Now, he did get burnt by Robbie Chosen, but he showed effort. I'd like to see how many tackles he had. But what was interesting is I'd like to gauge how fast Robbie was running on that play, because I guess he didn't make one of the fastest max speeds by ball carriers. We have Tyreek Hill. In fact, out of all the ball carriers in the NFL this year, the Miami Dolphins have basically the top 6 in fastest ball carriers in the NFL this season. No one else has topped the
But
speed.
you still believe that there's a defense in this league that can stop this team?
I'm not going to say that. Buffalo may give them a hard time. If Buffalo can put pressure, no, they don't have Von Miller. He'll be back after next week. But if Buffalo can put pressure on the quarterback by rushing 4, that could possibly, give the Miami Dolphins some problems. Philadelphia, San Francisco, they can get after the pass. Dallas can get after the passer. So those will be the teams that the Dolphins play that could possibly slow them down, because they can get pressure on the quarterback by rushing 4. Now, I'm mentioning this because that's one of the weaknesses on the Miami Dolphin defense. They're not able to get enough pressure on the quarterback by just rushing 4. A lot of times they have to create pressure by sending players. I saw Xavier Howard on a quarterback blitz. You never see Xavier Howard blitz. That's what they did. And by blitzing, Fangio is now basically including some of the plays, I would say some of the schemes of the last year's defense and this year's defense. So because you can't just sit back and play zone with this particular team that is used to being very aggressive and attacking. So I think they're finding an equal balance. But I just named you a couple of teams that can get after the quarterback. And if you get pressure on Tua, that could be something that could slow down the Dolphins somewhat from being as efficient as they have been. But here, I want to get to this. Tyreek Hill, fast speed, a speed of 22 miles an hour. Devon Achane, 21.93 miles an hour. Tyreek Hill, 21.66. Raheem Mostert, 21.62. Tyreek Hill, 21.52. And Devon Achane, 21.50. Fastest max speeds by ball carriers in the NFL this year. All 6 are on the Miami Dolphins.
Yet you believe there's a defense that can slow them down.
Jeff, what did I say? I said a defensive line that can get pressure on Tua by rushing 4.
Sacked once this whole season.
But they have, what good defensive front have they seen this year?
It doesn't matter.
It's almost like when the Cowboy fans were beating their chests about how good their defense or how good their offense was, and they played the Jets and the Giants.
Well, they were giving credit to their defense. I'm telling you.
But they played Zach.
Miami Dolphins offense.
But they played Zach Wilson and Daniel Jones, and they were calling them like the greatest defense of all time.
That's what the Cowboys do.
I'm just saying. So what I'm doing right now is I'm being objective, knowing that the outside of, okay, we did well against Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack. We did well. Those are 2 that could put pressure on the quarterback, and the offensive line did well against the San Diego Chargers. But we're not going to say too much about their overall defense, are we? No, we're not. So when you look at the Buffalo Bills, when you look at the Philadelphia Eagles, even though you got to look at the fact that they're making adjustments because their coordinator left. And when you look at the San Francisco 49ers and you look at the Dallas Cowboys, these are all teams, and the Kansas City Chiefs with Chris Jones in the middle of that defensive line. So when you look at those are the teams that could possibly give the Miami Dolphins some issues with executing their offense as efficiently as they have over these first 3 games.
There is no stopping the Miami Dolphins offense. I'm telling you right now. And I'm not just throwing this out there.
Yes,
I firmly believe it.
Yes, you are.
I firmly believe it. There's no stopping them. Mike McDaniel has so much motion. Yeah, Tua gets the ball out of his hands so quickly.
Faster than anyone else.
Right. That if you're a head coach and you go to your offensive coordinator and say, look, I need you to stop this team, he's going to look at you and say,
that's stupid. Use your common sense.
Exactly. It's stupid. There's no stopping them. You basically have to try to outscore them. That's it.
Okay.
So the weakness, I'm looking for a weakness on this Dolphin squad, Lorenzo. I want to say it's the defense, but man, they got some ball hawks on defense. And here's what they do. I thought I had it here in the clips. I know I have it. Let me see if I can find the clip. They take the ball away. They take the ball away like nobody else.
Yesterday, they took the ball away, but they had one interception in the New England game, and they didn't take the ball away against the Chargers. So it was just yesterday. And the year before, they had one of the fewest amount of turnovers and takeaways of any team in the NFL.
Well, they were ball hawks yesterday. That was
yesterday. And Russell Wilson still threw for over 300 yards. He had an efficient game. He had a very good game. I think he was like 27 for 33.
Yeah, he had over 300 yards.
Yeah, he had over 300 yards passing.
I've got it in the notes here.
And it was a pick play, but they scored a touchdown. They had 2 touchdowns called back because of penalties. So what I'm doing as a fan, as a true fan, I'm looking at those plays where they scored and the pick play, that was kind of iffy. It wasn't, that could have gone either way. That'd have been a touchdown. And there was another touchdown that Sutton called, Curtin Sutton caught right before the end of the half. But there was an illegal formation call and left wide open. There was wide receivers running wide open in that secondary. So they got some stuff they got to clean up on that defensive side of the ball. The linebackers, when David Long hits that hole, he's got to hit the right hole. Whereas against the Chargers, he hit the wrong hole, and that's when Eckler ran for like 60, 70 yards. So he picks that hole. It's got to be the right hole. And need Jerome Baker to attack that hole sometimes instead of waiting for the running back to get to him. He needs to go ahead and shoot up that hole.
Yeah.
So those are some of the things. We still playing around with that second cornerback position. We had Eli Apple out there, and then Cole played a little bit. So, and we're just trying to hold that down until Jalen Ramsey gets there. Now, when that happens, that should take the defense to another level because Jalen's going to be all over the place.
I forgot y'all even had him.
Now that
I'm scratching my head.
When that happens in December, look out. So we're just trying defensively. We're really just trying to hold it down because they had a different scheme totally planned with him being there. He may have lined up at the cornerback. He may have lined up on the slot. He may have lined up at safety. Jalen Ramsey was going to be all over. That was going to be one of the guys that were going to be blitzing the quarterback off the edge on the same side of Chubb or the same side of Jalen Phillips.
Well, I don't know what to tell you, bro. Like, I get it. This team has hurt its fan base so many times. They've gotten off to great starts, including last year when they were 8-3.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys have seen it all. Like, I don't get the conservative approach of your fan base. I do in a way, but I also don't.
But what did I say, Jeff? I want to see the game against Buffalo. That's what I'm saying.
How will you feel if they go out there and they smoke Buffalo?
Now I'm probably talking Super Bowl. They go into Buffalo and they smoke them. They smoke Buffalo 42-14, 20. Yeah, now you're talking
20 points.
Now you're not, because of defense. Yeah, now you're talking because we went into their house. We've been close the last 2 times we played them up there, and they've been excellent, great games. You go into Buffalo and you dominate Buffalo, I'm confident because when it comes to the Kansas City Chiefs, they don't have a number one. They got a number one wide receiver and Kelsey, and the tight end has given the Miami Dolphins defense a lot of problems. But all the other wide receivers, they don't really scare you. They're just, no one really dominates. So you just got to get pressure on Patrick Mahomes. You got to try to do what you can to keep him in the pocket. and just know that what they're going to do to extend plays. That's what Russell Wilson did on the touchdown to Sutton. He rolled out of the pocket, rolled to the right, and then the wide receiver was running a dig route going across the field and then stopped and turned around and ran all the way back to the end zone, and Russell just hit him in the corner. Those are some of the same things that Kansas City does. They do that. Mahomes rolls out. Kelsey will pivot one way and then go the opposite way, and Patrick Mahomes will hit him there.
They play street ball. They play football like we used to play back in the streets in the day.
Exactly, but the Dolphins, they've improved the last 2 games against the run. And
the Broncos average 3.5 yards a carry.
Yeah, they've improved. And Kansas City doesn't have a strong running game. Really, Buffalo doesn't have a strong running game. So that's why the key is my biggest concern is if we can get to the point that we're putting pressure on the quarterback by rushing 4, we can start doing that on a consistent basis, then my confidence of Super Bowl talk goes higher. We go into Buffalo and we beat them 42-20 something, and then I'm really thinking.
I guarantee you that the Dolphins will beat the Bills by at least 10 points.
Okay, I hear you. It's easy to say it.
I guarantee it. I don't see a team that can stop them. The only thing that will stop you, this team is a juggernaut offensively. I've never seen an offense like this in my life, ever. And I've been watching football a long time.
And I saw the Marino days. I was there in that stadium.
Those days. Yeah.
I saw the O.J. McDuffies. Yep. I saw the Marx brothers, Duper and Clayton. Saw them. I remember Joe Rose catching 2 touchdowns in the game against the San Diego Chargers, that overtime thriller. I remember seeing them come back from 24-0. I've seen those explosive offensive teams, but nothing like this. Nothing with the efficiency to whereas they are running the ball just as well as they're passing the ball. But it is a team game.
They average over 8 yards a carry.
And we have to make sure we're not giving up kickoff returns either. So we got to make sure our kicker can kick from, I think some of the problems that I'm talking about is nitpicking. But those are areas of weakness. We need to improve the special teams. Okay, where we should have held Denver to 13 points, but we gave up the kick return. Now, of course, our backups were in during that time when we gave up. I believe the backups were in on special teams. So that's why we gave up that kick return. And, Sanders, come on, just continue to kick it out of the end zone. So that's what we need to do. However, those are the things that we need to work on to become a complete team. And we have the ability to do that. Because most of the times I would like to go over each and every possession. Most of the times we have not scored have been because of self-inflicted. I sound like I'm contradicting myself, but as you're acting, I got to see this Buffalo game before I can go over the top with my belief.
Well, I'm over the top.
Super Bowl.
I've seen enough. And besides that,
not a good enough team.
I predicted before the season started. And that's why I'm making sure that everybody notes this. I predicted before the season started that the Miami Dolphins would win the division.
Mm-hmm.
They would at least get to the AFC Championship and be on the verge of a Super Bowl. I called that before game 1 because I just felt as if Mike McDaniel had achieved something with this offense. Mm-hmm. I didn't know they would go nuclear like they've done. It's like playing Madden on rookie mode. It's easy for the Dolphins. I pointed out on the Patriots game how easy it was for them to score. The other Patriots tried to put safeties over the top, and you couldn't go deep. So they nickel and dime them to death.
Right.
There's no stopping them. Did they get to a third down yesterday? They may have once or twice.
Yeah, they had at least two. They had 2 third downs in the second half. I don't. In the first half, I don't remember the second half. It was a blur.
Man,
I mean, they took out the backups. They took out the starters and put in the backups at the end of the third quarter,
right?
And still put up like 14 points. And you know what's comical? You got the New York Jets probably looking for a quarterback. And then you got Mike White out there throwing bombs to a former New York Jet.
Yeah.
And Robbie Anderson.
And guess who caught Robbie Anderson is also a former New York Jet.
Former Jet. That's what I said. Robbie Anderson. So imagine seeing that. And knowing you can't call up the Dolphins and ask, hey, would you trade us Mike White back? Yeah, now. No.
I did hear a disturbing stat from my cousin.
What's that?
Earlier today. Regarding the Miami Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills. Mm-hmm. And he pointed out, maybe we can confirm this, but he's usually on top of his game. He said that the Dolphins were 1-9 in their last 10 games against the Buffalo Bills.
I mean, the game 3 last year was the one that broke the streak. We had
Buffalo Bills ain't never seen no Miami Dolphin team like this.
Oh no, their film study is going to be crazy. The last time we had beaten the Buffalo Bills, I don't remember the date. I remember the game. We were Sports Brothers were covering the Dolphins on the field, and I remember standing in the end zone when Josh Allen rolled out and he threw a pass to a wide open. I can't remember the tight end's name. He used to play for the Dolphins, but he was playing for Buffalo. Charles, I think it was Ed Charles, missed a pass that basically was a little short, but he still should have caught it. Short of the end zone, wide open. Had he caught the pass, he'd have been able to run into the end zone and win the game. I think that was 2018 or something of that sort. That was prior to a year ago, game 3. That was the last time we had beaten the Buffalo Bills. So I think it was about 8. It was about maybe like 8 straight. Then we won, and then we've lost to them the last 2 times we've played them. Even though those games were close, and both of them were decided. I think both of them decided by 3 points. The snow game, and then the playoff game, which we lost 31-28, where we played very well without. I mean, we were missing a lot of starters on the offensive line. Skylar Thompson was the quarterback in that game. So, but we played them tough, and I'm not sure. I haven't had a chance to really watch them this year, so I don't know how many changes and adjustments have been made to their defense, but they got basically mostly the same starters from last year coming. So they're probably playing the same scheme. So it should be something that the Dolphins are prepared for. Just like they prepared for the prepared for the Los Angeles Chargers game after they beat them. You better believe they're just as prepared for this Buffalo Bill game.
Okay. Well, we'll see. I got the Dolphins winning by at least 10.
By 10. Okay. I got us winning the game. I just want to see how we win the game. We can go into Buffalo and beat Buffalo. I'm confident we can do that just because of the way we played them the last 3 times last season, and we're much better than we were last year. And I don't know if they're much better than they were.
Well, they played well. Yeah, they dominated a very good, in my opinion, Washington team, a team that'll be there at the end.
Yeah.
I think the Commanders are a physical bunch. And the way Buffalo manhandled them yesterday, I will tell you, I was impressed. I was impressed.
But the Commanders hadn't seen a team like Buffalo, So until they came up against one of the elites, now they see they got to go back to the drawing board. Right. I mean, I can't even say the same thing about the Cowboys. They lost to Arizona, and that was a game that they were supposed to win. Did you not?
Meanwhile,
did you watch that game and see the interception thrown by Dak Prescott? Did you see that?
Yeah.
And did you think of Stephen A. Smith?
The Cowboys.
Did you think of Stephen A. Smith immediately right after that interception?
Immediately thought of Stephen A.
I thought of Stephen A. immediately, and I went straight to his page on his IG, and he was laughing.
Yeah.
So
no doubt. Yeah. That's where this comes. This is from last year.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
He loves to stick it to him.
Yeah.
And they keep letting him do it. Because you go out there and you wet the bed against the Cardinals. Mm-hmm. Dak Prescott is the weakness on the Dallas Cowboys. I hate to say it.
Right.
He's probably the reason.
Yeah. And they had the camera angle. There was a camera angle of all the Cowboy fans in the stands right behind the goalposts. And you can see the ball being thrown. And then the Cardinal defender just jumps right in front of the pass and interceptions, and you can watch the expressions on the Cowboy fans' faces just go from like,
yeah.
oh.
Yeah, Dak does it to him every time. The Canes won on Saturday as well.
Yeah.
Impressive performance up in Philadelphia against the Temple Owls. Nobody's surprised by that. I like the way Tyler Van Dyke has looked so far. Mm-hmm. I like the way this team is playing physical football, the Miami Hurricanes. I can see the change in the Miami Hurricane program. The fact that these guys are getting more and more physical. I'd like to give credit to Mario Cristobal for that because he realized they got to get big up front.
And that's what he promised. That's what he promised. And they are not playing down to the level of their competition like they did in the previous years under his regime. So they have stepped up. They got the big boys in there, and they handled their business. Who they beat? Temple? Like 41-7 this past Saturday. So yeah, they did a great job. And now the organization is starting to look like the way we're used to the Canes starting to look. And it's the same situation with Deion. Deion said, he told us from game one, he needed 7 or 8 dogs, to be complete. And those dogs need to be in that in the interior line. Even offense and defensive side of the ball. That's what he needs.
That was evident in the Colorado and Oregon game as well. The size different, the physicality. Your thoughts, sir, on what this Oregon head coach had to say to his squad before the game?
Rooted in substance, not flash. Rooted in substance. Today, we talk with our pads. You talk with your helmet, right? Every moment. The Cinderella story is over, man. Right? They're fighting for clicks. We're fighting for wins. There's a difference. Right? There's a difference. Right? This game ain't going to be played in Hollywood. It's going to be played on the grass. Right? It's going to be played on the grass. And let's go.
All right. The excuse makers were out. Do you have a problem with anything he said?
No, I don't have any problem with anything that he said because his job as a head coach is to get his team motivated. He knows the ages of these guys that he's talking to. He knows these athletes, these students, these players see social media. They see how prime time is taking it over. So he knows what he needs to say to get his boys motivated. So he said the right things. There's nothing wrong with it. You do what you have to do to motivate your players to go out there. They were favored by 21 points, and he made them feel as if they were the underdog because it was all about Hollywood and it was all about the clicks. Now, the funny thing is that Oregon is just basically the same thing. They have so many different uniforms. They do it for the shine. They do it to sell paraphernalia. They do it with their shoes. So they do it for clicks too.
They do it their way.
Right.
That's all.
Right. And the fact that he wanted to use the media to help promote his program as well. From what I hear is that he called the cameras into the locker room to get that. You see what I'm saying? So it wasn't like the cameras are there. Like Deion does that all the time. He always has the cameras there.
That's who he is.
Yeah, right. But he specifically called the cameras into the locker room to record that. So he was playing the media game too, as well, to help market and promote his organization. So, and then at halftime, when you got a big lead, you get on there, you do an interview and you say, I hope we're still watching. Because a lot of eyes are watching because of Deion. But what I did hear Keyshawn Johnson say that what has happened because of, this black head coach that brags and is arront and is very cocky with his delivery. But that's Deion. We know Deion for being that way, and he's very confident in his own skin. Mm-hmm. But what has happened is that because of that, Keyshawn Johnson said there were coaches that, and he heard this from someone inside the Oregon coaching staff, that never before have they received so much information from other coaches that were given to the Oregon coaching staff to help them beat Deion's team.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So he had other outside sources giving the Oregon team information about how to beat Deion. So that means it's coming from outside sources. That's other coaches. Those are people that want to do whatever they can to help Oregon beat Deion by any means necessary. So now Deion is going up against not just the coach, other coaches that want to see him lose. But the best thing about that particular game was showing to the entire world, this is what I need. I need these big dogs. I need defensive linemen. I need offensive linemen because I've got the skilled players. But if you see how we lost this game, and if you're a football player, you watch football, you see it was lost up front. It was lost in the trenches. So I think that particular game, and the USC game probably so, it'll be the biggest recruiting tool for Deion because some players are going to see, okay, that's where I need to go because I know that's what Deion needs, and I'm going to go to Colorado to help Deion. So I think this game in particular and the way people are going against him, like someone said, oh, Oregon is speaking up for us. Like, what does us mean? What do you mean by that? They're speaking up for us? I responded to someone on Twitter that said, oh, they're speaking up for you? Wow, that sounds like when we say they, so us must equal they. Exactly.
Well, I look forward to the I don't look forward to the the USC. Colorado USC game.
Yeah, it's gonna be like the BET.
They're gonna get smoked.
It's gonna be like the BET Awards on the sideline, though, man. It's gonna be crazy on the sideline.
The BET Awards.
That's right. That's right. It's gonna be star-studded. Is it on a Saturday night?
I do believe that's the 12 o'clock game on Saturday.
Oh,
that's a noon game, noon kickoff.
Okay.
So I'll be breakfast at football for me. So, okay, we're about to get out of here, folks. We're going to look forward to next Sunday. I will give you a score, Lorenzo. I think the Dolphins will drop at least 38 and Buffalo 21.
All right. I don't like giving scores.
All right.
I don't like giving scores. I really don't.
Dolphins win. Dolphins win convincingly next week.
I hope you're right.
Come on, give me something, bro.
What? I think the Dolphins will win.
You think they'll win?
Yeah, I think they'll win.
You think it's going to be close?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be similar to the others. All three games last year came down to the wire. I feel if the Dolphins have the ball last, they'll be able to win. As long as they're not making self-inflicted mistakes, as long as their mistakes are not just offside penalties, holding penalties, because those are the things that happen that hurts them on the offensive side of the ball. That I don't think like you said, they're unstoppable, but I think they can stop themselves. How about that?
Good enough for me. Yeah. Let everybody know where they can find you, Lorenzo.
They can find me because I was on the air all day. That's why I'm tired right about now. So I'm on Monday through Friday, 3 to 7 on Star 94.5 in Orlando. You can find me on Saturday nights, 6 to 10 on Hot 105. And, of course, you can follow me on all my social media outlets on YouTube. Just look for me on Lorenzo Ice-T, Sports Brothers, IG on Lorenzo Ice-T, Lorenzo ICETEA on Twitter at Lorenzo Thomas. You can find me everywhere. Just Google Lorenzo ICETEA. Woo!
No doubt. And of course, you can get me at the Jeff Fox Show here on Facebook, and Jeff Fox, the host, on Twitter and Instagram. And we'll be back next Monday after a convincing Miami Dolphin victory. What you got, Lorenzo?
Right now, with 11:47 to go in the third quarter, Philadelphia is beating Tampa Bay 13-3. And they're
impressive, man.
Yeah, they are I think they're in the red zone right now.
The Eagles are?
Yeah, they're at the 16-yard line, threatening to score right now.
Wow.
Well, here we go. Swift.
In.
Yep. Yeah. So they're threatening to score right now, and it's 3-3 between the Rams and the Bengals.
All right, man. That's going to wrap it up for us.
Can you hear it in my voice? My voice is just about gone.
Yeah, man. I had a long day myself, man. So thank you, Dolphin fans, for tuning in. Big shout out to Boss Carter, DJ Crossover, OJ from Cincinnati, who checked in, Philip Glenn earlier. Y'all check him out as well. And my cousin Rodney. All right, everybody that was tuned in, also members of the X Squad.
All right. Thanks for checking us out. Nah, man, I'm tired.
All right, man.
My voice is shot.
We
man.
better get up out of here, man. We'll see y'all next week.
Okay, peace.
Yo, spade a spade. That's a historic victory. Okay, and what I want you guys to understand and take from it is it's about our standard, nothing else. Okay, offensively, you put up some historic numbers today because you didn't give up the scoreboards. Okay, defense. Literally, any time that we shortchanged ourselves, you guys came up with a play and then we piggybacked. We're just getting started.
For Denver, 1st and 10, the fake, good block in there, and down it goes, caught at the 30. This is the dynamic hill. He's in for 6. Tyreek Hill. 10, 32, White going deep. Oh, he's got chosen. Beating Sertan for 6. The former Robbie Anderson, now Robbie Chosen.
You've been listening to the Jeff Fox Show. Join us next time.